Today, we're digging into a legal case that's a little different. It wasn't decided by who was right or wrong, or by some dramatic courtroom confession. Nope. This one was decided by who simply followed the rules. It's the strange story of what happens when you sue someone and then forget the most important part, actually showing up.
I mean, it sounds like a trick question, right? You go through all the trouble of filing a case, you make these big accusations, you demand justice, and then you're a no-show on the big day? It seems kind of wild. Well, we're about to see exactly what goes down. And the answer, well, it reveals something really fundamental about how the whole legal system works.
And boom, there it is, the final verdict, in stark black and white, petition dismissed. End of story. But why? How did it all end so suddenly? To really get it, we need to rewind and go all the way back to the beginning, to a very, very unusual request.
All right, so let's set the scene. Every legal drama has a beginning, and this one kicks off with a filing that was, to put it lightly, a real head-scratcher for the court.
Okay, so you've got the petitioner, Daniel Belt, and he's not messing around. He's talking about felony crimes. Super serious stuff. And he's asking an administrative director to step in and basically act as a judge and jury on these criminal accusations. He wants this one guy to dispense justice. I mean, that is a huge, huge ask.
And here's where it gets weird. In the same breath that he's demanding the director take action, he says, but you can't treat this as a motion for a change of judge, which, believe it or not, was the one procedural tool the director actually could have used to help him. So it's like he's demanding the director open a door while simultaneously insisting he doesn't use the only key he has.
So you can imagine Director Greg Hanchett gets this contradictory request and has to figure out how to respond. And his reply is basically a masterclass in a crucial legal idea that honestly governs pretty much every court in the country.
And that big idea is jurisdiction. Just think of it like this. Everybody in the legal world has a specific job to do. They have to stay in their own lane. You know, you can't ask a traffic court to handle a murder case, right? Jurisdiction is just the official rule book that says who has the power to do what.
And this chart just lays the problem out perfectly. Look on the left. The petitioner wanted the director to rule on felonies, to act like a high-level appeals court. Now look on the right. What the director could actually do, according to the rules of his job, was rule on a motion for a change of judge. You see the disconnect? They're not even on the same planet.
And the director himself says it best right here. His power isn't unlimited. It's spelled out very clearly by the law. He couldn't do what the petitioner wanted, not because he didn't feel like it, but because legally his hands were tied. And that simple fact sets the stage for the final act of this whole drama.
So all of this leads us to the big day, the hearing on March 10th, 2022. The respondent is there, the judge is there, everyone is ready to go. The only person missing? The guy who started the whole thing.
Let's just walk through what happened. The hearing was supposed to start at 1 p.m. 11 minutes go by, nothing. At 1:11, the judge officially starts the record, noting the petitioner isn't there. She confirms he got the notice. And then she drops this bombshell from a previous filing. The petitioner himself had already told them in writing that he would, quote, unequivocally not participate. So yeah, by 1:13, the writing's on the wall and the judge is ready to hear a motion.
And right here, this is the whole case in a nutshell, straight from the judge. It's petitioner's burden. That one little word, burden. It's about to bring the whole thing crashing down. It's a legal term that carries a ton of weight.
Okay, so now we can finally connect the dots. The empty chair at that hearing. It leads directly to that final order we saw at the very beginning. The mystery is solved.
So that word the judge used, burden, she was talking about the burden of proof. And it's a really simple idea. If you're the one making an accusation in court, it is your job to prove it. The court doesn't do the work for you. You have to show up, you have to present your evidence, you have to make your arguments. The burden is on you.
And that was it. That was the official reason the case was dismissed. It had nothing to do with whether his claims were true or false. It wasn't about right or wrong. It was about procedure. By not showing up, he failed to do the most basic thing the law required of him, carry his burden of proof. Because, you know, you can't exactly make your case from an empty chair.
So, what's the big lesson here? What does this strange little case of the empty chair really teach us? It's not just some weird legal quirk. It's actually a really powerful lesson about how our justice system is built from the ground up.
It really boils down to 3 simple rules of the game. First,
If you're the one suing, the burden of proof is on you. Second, you have to follow the rules. You can't ask a legal body to do a job it doesn't have the power to do. And third, maybe the biggest lesson from this story, showing up is not optional. If you don't appear, you lose your chance to make your case. Period.
And that kind of leaves us with one final thought to chew on. This whole case proves a hard truth about the law. You can have what you think is the greatest story ever told. You can know all your lines by heart, but none of that means anything if you refuse to actually step onto the stage when the curtain goes up.